So I'm 38 weeks, still pregnant, no baby yet, and today I wanted to talk about food. Food is so important because it's not only fueling you, the mom, the vessel for this baby, but you're also fueling the baby. It goes right into her or him, and every single thing you eat is really important. So I've been really mindful of what I've eaten over the last 9 months, and I've read a lot about it, I've talked to a lot of people about it, and I have some tips. So first of all, everybody talks about pregnancy cravings. I feel like everyone asks me, what are you craving? What are you craving? The funny thing is, I didn't have as many crazy cravings as I had heard about. I kind of wanted to. I was looking forward to asking my husband to run out and get pickles at the middle of the night, but I didn't really need to because I never felt that way. The only cravings that I really noticed were in the very beginning, in the first trimester. I was really craving red meat. I think it's because I naturally have very low iron and I don't eat a lot of red meat normally. So I think it was my body's response of trying to build up that iron count. So I was craving like ribs and hamburgers and things that I never really go for. I'm more of a fish and chicken and vegetable type person. To want that kind of heavy red meat, well, first of all, made my husband really happy, but also is very abnormal for me. So I think that was totally related. So throughout the pregnancy, I also had a stronger craving for sweets. It's kind of hard to tell if that's a pregnancy craving or a Kelley craving. I always love sweets. Anybody that knows me knows that I have a huge sweet tooth, especially ice cream. That's my number one, but I also really like donuts and I really like cupcakes and cake and like brownies and cookies too. I mean, I really like all of them. So I think I was craving sweets more in the beginning because I was tired, and a lot of that had to do with just the physical changes that are happening in your body, but also because I was limiting my caffeine. So I think in combination of those two, my body then resorted to be craving more sugars to kind of give me that energy boost that I wasn't getting from caffeine. So besides meat and sugar, I haven't really craved too much else. So the other big things about eating that you have to be careful of are caffeine and alcohol. Caffeine is a little more shades of gray because you are actually allowed to have 200 milligrams of caffeine. I've read a lot about this. I've followed up with my OBGYN about this. That is the equivalent of like 2 cups of coffee. It kind of depends on the type of coffee you're having. If you're having a triple espresso, then no. But if you're having, a regular just home brewed cup of coffee, then that's about 100 milligrams, so you can get away with 2 of those. I've limited it to 1 good cup of coffee a day, and then maybe if I'm really, really tired, I'll have like a light green tea in the afternoon. I know some people that completely abstain from caffeine. Not something that I could do. So I look forward to my 1 cup a day, but it did take me a little while to get used to that because I had been drinking 2, 2.5, 3 sometimes cups of coffee a day, and that's probably too many anyway. So if anything, pregnancy made me become a little more aware of my caffeine consumption and be a little healthier. So the other thing that you can't have, or that you have to be careful of, is alcohol. And I know there's a lot of controversy with alcohol, but generally speaking, you shouldn't be drinking when you're pregnant. But when you get to the end, as in my stage now, they say about a glass a week, even more so, some studies say, is fine. Everybody, does whatever they feel comfortable with. But I know that a lot of the rules stem from doctors worrying that people will abuse them. If they say that it's okay to have 1 glass of wine, they're worried that some moms will take that as it's okay to have 3 glasses of wine, and maybe that's not okay. But 1 glass, maybe that is okay. So it's really a fine line there. I decided what was best for me was to have a glass of wine here and there and pretty rarely. Really limited it to times when it was really special, when I really savored each sip, and when I was eating food with it, and I didn't have more than 1. So to me, I think that was fine, and I waited certainly until the 2nd and 3rd trimester because first trimester is very important with the developmental stages of the baby. It's very small, very much influenced by everything that you're putting in. So other things that I didn't know, that once you get towards the end and you're approaching delivery, like I am, there are certain things that you can eat and drink that are actually really beneficial to you having a better labor and delivery. I thought these were completely bogus when I first heard about them. They were recommended to me by some friends who are moms and totally swore by them. Then I started looking them up and there's actually research and science behind them, so I decided to try them out. The first one is, so dates are really good for you as you near the end of your pregnancy. I never really had too many dates before in my life. They're kind of bizarre looking little sweet fruits. They actually taste pretty good. They're kind of like candy and they're pretty thick and hearty. The thing about the dates is you need to eat 6 of them a day. Might not sound like a lot, but there's a lot of fruit on those things and they're really sweet and sugary. So 6 a day is like, it's a lot. Today I actually managed to eat 6, but some days it's 2, some days it's 3, some days it's none, and then I go next day and I'll have 6. I'm just trying to do the best I can here, so I'm taking it with a grain of salt, you know. Dates are also kind of expensive, so I found that the best deal was at Trader Joe's. These ones are really good. They're about $5 and you get a lot in here. I tried going to Whole Foods and they were a lot more there. So why are dates so good for you? They actually have been proven to soften your cervix, which is very important if you want to have a natural delivery, and to minimize tearing. Something that I hate to even think about. But if there's anything that I can eat that's going to minimize tearing down there, I'm going to eat it. Another thing that is highly recommended is red raspberry leaf tea. Red raspberry leaf tea you probably don't come across in your average life. I had never even heard of it. So this type of tea is actually supposed to strengthen your uterus and tone it so that you end up having stronger, better contractions and thus a better delivery. I drink at least 1 a day. Sometimes I'll make a double batch and put 2 of these in there. And then I let it steep for a while and then I'll put it in a pitcher and put some ice in it and it's like a lovely iced tea. Tastes pretty good. It kind of tastes like a black tea even though there's no caffeine in this. It's light, it's refreshing, it's super easy to drink, so this is much easier for me than the dates. Another thing I found was that in the second trimester I was hungry all the time, like ravenous all the time. I just couldn't eat enough. I didn't really put on that much weight, but I think the baby was really growing. Towards the end of the second trimester was when my belly really popped out, was when she put on a lot of weight. So clearly, baby needed those nutrients and those calories. So I listened to my body and I ate more. And it was kind of fun. I kind of felt like I had a license to eat whatever I wanted. Healthy fats and healthy proteins and vegetables and whole grains and getting my dairy in for calcium. So I was trying to have like a very well-rounded, balanced diet. Now that I'm at the end of my third trimester, I've noticed that I get full very quickly. So I might be hungry, but then when I start to eat, I immediately fill up. And it's kind of a bummer because eating is fun. I really like to eat. And it's kind of annoying that I can't eat as much as I want. But the thing is, I physically don't have the space. So this ball right here is mostly baby. So everything else, including my stomach, is getting pushed to the side. So my stomach has gotten a lot smaller and thus I can't really fill it the way that I used to. What I have been doing to kind of help with that is eating smaller meals more frequently. So instead of doing my 3 major meals a day with some snacks, I've been reducing it to smaller portions and having a couple of those. So instead of one big breakfast, I'll have 2 different things. Like I'll have a yogurt and blueberries, and then maybe an hour or 2 later I'll have a banana with peanut butter, and then maybe I'll have like a light protein and some vegetables for an early lunch, and then I'll have a later lunch. So kind of staggering these small meals has really worked for me. It gives me the nutrients and the energy that I need to continue, but also doesn't fill me up and make me feel terrible, because I've made that mistake where I went for that hamburger and ate the entire thing and then felt awful for like 3 hours. It's the same feeling as going to like an all-you-can-eat buffet, and just afterwards you feel gross and you can't digest, and it's not good. I've also realized throughout this pregnancy that I have low blood sugar, and I find that if I don't have snacks continuously, I get lightheaded, I get dizzy, I have to sit down, I feel really woozy. And this was happening because I was on my normal eating schedule, and I realized that what's happening to my body right now is not normal, so I have to adjust that. Instead of having a green smoothie like I usually did at like 8 a.m. and then I'm not eating anything until 2 p.m., I need to eat something in between there, especially because I usually work out. Nobody wants a pregnant person to fall, ever, and it's just not great to feel that way. You need to have continuous energy. Your body's burning a lot more than usual, and you're sustaining life in here, so you have to be really careful. I've been really cognizant about having snacks on me, like trail mix or granola bars. I also have fruit like oranges or apples or bananas, and I try to pair the sugars and the carbs with like a healthy fat. And besides all of that, I've been drinking tons of water. If I don't have my water bottle on me, I get anxious, and I really recommend always having a big refillable water bottle on you and just keeping that sucker filled all the time, because you need a lot of fluids. You have a lot of things going on there, and though you are going to go to the bathroom all the time, it's probably going to happen anyway, and at least this way you're not dehydrated. Especially at the end now when I'm approaching delivery any moment, it's important for me to stay hydrated too, because the last thing you want is to also feel dehydrated in the delivery room. Those are my tips for food. Hope they help you, and leave me some comments if you have any tips of your own, especially about different foods and different nutrition tips and tricks. That would be awesome. Thank you.
Hey Milo, this is where I need to sit, okay? Can you get off?
Sorry.
No, this is not your seat. It's mine. Kitty. Milo.